Hey everybody, this is Frankie Abbruzzino with The Scoop News. If this is your first time on here, first 30 seconds, 60 seconds, I'm on here basically sharing my video on my other pages, so there's a little bit of a delay. It is interactive, and so if you have any questions or you want to respond to anything, feel free to go ahead. Sometimes I respond back, sometimes I don't. If you want to bring up a story and talk about that, you can do that too. Very interactive. Do whatever the heck you want. And I cover all local news within Sarasota County. And sometimes what I basically do is I share that news, and then sometimes I'll run off tangent and opine and give them my own thoughts on it. And let me share this on one more page, and then we're good to go with this newscast. Let's see. All right, listen, I remember the first one I wanted to cover was Sarasota County and their pickup of the debris that's out there. They just sent out an email. There I go, my last page. All right, they just sent out an email about the debris pickup, and yesterday they sent out saying, look, you guys, we need vegetative storm debris. Don't put in your construction debris and other stuff on the curb, you know, making sure it's out of this drainage, the storm drainage system. And they broke down how to do it, 40 pounds or less, blah, blah, blah. What was surprising is they put out that they've completed, Sarasota County, not the cities, 40% of the pickup. And I'm thinking, wow, a month later, and they've only gotten 40% picked up, which explains why they project this to go. If you've been to their interactive site, which maps where they're at with the pickup and how and where they forecast when they will pick up yours, they're putting it out through December. Not sure how many of you guys have clicked on that link that I've shared a couple times. Registering to vote, you know, I got, hopefully the councilman's not watching this, but I was told yesterday, and the person had a valid point, is control what I say, because I made a comment, and the person alluded to the fact that possibly people may be listening to you and not go out and vote because you said, hey, what the hell, those two are going to win anyways. So he brought that to my attention. I'm going to be more cognizant of it, which he made a valid point. But online voting registration, basically, if you're not registered to vote, you can go on there. This is going to be pivotal. Can't even speak today. And any updates on the Bay Flight incident in Jacaranda on Monday? No, nothing. You know, with HIPAA laws, and I'm in the medical industry, Lisa, you don't hear too much unless the families release information. And that's due to all the HIPAA stuff there. So register to vote, because Venice has a crucial one right now. And I don't know if any of you guys watched the big debate yesterday, where you have basically two sustainable growth type individuals against two pro-growth individuals. I cannot speak today. It's Friday. I'm ready to go home. And so it's important to make it out. And the thing is, you're welcome. And the thing is it's a slow season, so it's an off season. So you're not going to have a lot of people casting votes, and that's why it's imperative. And a lot of these elections, I found out 60% of the people are mail-in because they're snowbirds or whatever. They don't know if they'll be available on that Tuesday. Next story, that gopher. I don't know if you guys remember the gopher tortoise that was shot up in Sarasota or Venice, and they were looking for it. I was written by an individual. She didn't say to use or not use her name. Looking at her profile picture, she looks a little elderly. And she said it was all wrong that she was there, basically that a car hit it and knocked the shell off, and the guy shot it to put it out of its misery. I'm not sure I'm buying all that, but I put that update on it yesterday and shared that story. I asked her, I'm like, what gopher are you talking about? Because there was a gopher turtle in the pool. I think there was like 3 gopher turtle stories. And she made reference to that issue, saying the guy did not shoot it. Martin Hyde is he ran for city council, Sarasota City Council. He's a wealthy millionaire up in Sarasota, and he's always going before the city of Sarasota City Council. And he went there and said, look, he was fighting against spending $21 million on the Bobby Jones golf course when they're losing money every single year right now. And I put that video up, but he's also the individual that's posted about the shooting at Publix, wondering why the WWSB, Herald, SNN weren't covering it. And so I put it out there because I know he's pretty reliable. I know I've never met him, but I know of him, and I know he just wouldn't just throw it out there. And it ended up being true. Somebody was shot. They were shot in the stomach in a robbery attempt over at the Publix. and they're on the lookout for him. So if you can either go to the wall, I think it was one of the last ones I posted, or go to the uncensoredreport.com, top right search bar, and just put Publix, and it'll probably pull it up. Yeah, I know, Lisa. I think somebody else said that to me too about contacting. I think the lady told me that so that it would get to FWC. I know FWC follows me, but like I put out so many stories, they may have missed that. I don't know if she's accurate though. She sounded pretty accurate. She sounded like she knew what she was talking about, but I'm just not positive on it. The next report is Puerto Ricans. I've been telling you guys a few times, if you're just joining, you're new to the newscast, you can type any questions. It's interactive over to the right-hand side. You might notice that I stop and I start answering a question midway through a story, which happens a lot. Puerto Rico, sounds Italiano. Puerto Rican students are are coming to the Suncoast. They're saying that you may see more of them here. That video was interesting. They had a kid, and he was talking about his school in Puerto Rico and how devastated it was. And he's like, there's no way we're going to get it up and running in time to get the school going and, you know, all that good stuff. And he's right. If you just look at the daily pictures there of the infrastructure, they can't even get their electric up. How are they going to hold a school class? So a lot of those individuals, U.S. citizens, are making their way here. This particular family in that video will be staying with his relatives. This next one I thought was interesting about the charged DUI. I put this Sarasota Sheriff's Office, I believe, put out a video the other day, or a picture, and it shows their cruiser smashed in. I guess the guy had somebody pulled over, and he said a drunk person smashed into him. And it was early, it was a lady. He didn't really give much details. Well, SNN dug into it, and they found out that actually what happened is an elderly lady smashed into it. She ended up having to go to the hospital. I think she had a previous issue that was inflamed by it. Hours later, when they tested the blood, she was below the level needed to basically signify that someone's drunk. And so the question was she really drunk? Did she, she's elderly, maybe she didn't see the officer there. It was an interesting video, and they talked to her husband. So if you haven't seen it yet, go to the website, just search DUI, woman charged, any of those words, and it'll pull it up. It was pretty interesting. Let me see what's Lisa's writing here. No one being held by police officer, blah, blah, blah. The Jacaranda thing. Lisa went to, we graduated school. 85, Lisa. I thought at the same time as that Jacaranda accident was when the issue happened with the lady that lost her leg on the motorcycle in Northport. I thought, but then there was some confusion, so don't quote me 100% here. I thought Bayflight was going there to get that lady. A lot of people, when they think of Northport, they think, oh, deep down in Northport, but Northport actually is pretty close. I mean, if you're driving down 41, Northport is just after the Target Walmart area up there. You're basically in the Northport area. That's what I thought occurred. It was around the same time, but I'm not sure. Anybody know? I don't know if anybody else can answer Lisa's question on there. I have heard they were separate, but I've heard nothing about an incident on Jacaranda Center. Only about that motorcycle incident at that time. And that's why I heard Bayflight landed, but then everybody was saying, well, wasn't there an accident there? But I haven't seen anything outside gossip on the scoop about it. Well, I wonder what her bell would be. I see Dennis is on here. Whenever you get arrested, ask for SPR. The Bell's bondsmen love that. Coffee with the cop. This was yesterday, and it was interesting. I watched this video, and they basically were in there, and the officers were talking, and what they do is they bring these officers, the men and women in blue, down to a level where a lot of us understand them. We get to know them better. A lot of times, and a good example is, I had a friend. I don't know if she's still here at VPD. I haven't seen her in years. She was with the VPD, Michelle. Whenever she was out in her uniform, she had this look like, and you didn't want to go near her. But outside of that, she was the sweetest lady around. Her daughter was good friends with my daughter for years throughout when they were young kids. But once she got into the role of being an officer, her whole personality changed. And you often see that at this Coffee with a Cop. You saw that yesterday, where they weren't on edge. They weren't prepared for something to happen. A lot of times I think that, maybe not as much here in Venice, but like a lot of times, you never know. You're going to work. You never know if you might be in a Las Vegas type situation where you're fighting for your life. So I wish Venice would do more of this. Northport does it. Sarasota does it. I don't know if Longboat does. I wish Venice would do more community stuff like this. What else we got here? There was a woman that recounted what happened to her while she was in Las Vegas. She was here from Sarasota. The day before that, I put out the lady that was living in Bradenton, whose daughter was shot in the head. And that was tragic. I don't know if any of you guys were able to listen to that. Her voice was cracking. Obviously, any mother loses her child, and it was pretty emotional. Okay, Nancy. You don't have to be specific, Nancy. I think most people understood what I meant where Northport is. It's pretty close right after that. Gotta love people like that. Okay, thank you, Nancy. I'm not even gonna go. All right. The scam FEMA workers out there of Scam Warning Sarasota County put out a scam warning saying, hey guys, be careful. There's a lot of scammers out there, and they're dressing up like FEMA. They're going door to door. And they basically said, look, this is the way FEMA will operate. This is what we will do, that they have an ID, and they gave out some of the specifics on there. That's from John Rogers. And it's amazing. I did not know there was a FEMA scam warning. I knew that it was a concern, but I didn't know it was an actual warning until WFLA out of Tampa came down. Shouldn't that be something our local news lets us know first instead of them? The next thing was this whole bump stock rifle attachment. I was listening to the show today, and I got to agree with them. I don't know if that was a bump stock. I heard what sounded like a chain-driven gun, automatic. I don't know if it was his bump stock. I've never even heard of it. But now they're going like crazy. Everyone's buying them. And this was the story here in Venice about everybody going crazy buying. And I guess they were originally put on the market for individuals with some form of a handicap. But a lot of interesting stuff coming out of that Las Vegas story. And I'm not going to cover it because most people listen to what major mainstream media puts out, and they don't look into all the other stuff that's out there. But I think a lot of people are going to be surprised with what they really find out happens there. Sable Trace, the first two buyers, I've been reporting on this because some guy, he uses this anonymous email. When I respond, it goes to an anonymous email. I don't know who the heck he is, but he keeps communicating with me. And he was telling me about he's been accurate on everything, saying that the first two left with the environmental issues. And then this guy came along now. This guy knows about the environmental issues. If you live in Northport, he doesn't plan, from what I understand, he doesn't plan on putting a golf course there. And I'm thinking he's wanting to turn it into a full-on development, the way it was coming across. And I think the people that are living next to it were trying to talk him into doing a 9-hole golf course, but I don't think he's buying into it, and it all depends on the environmental test. One of the homeowner presidents said, well, he got it for such a cheap deal, he should be doing this. But what they don't understand is he got it for a cheap deal because he's got to pay out a ton of money for the environmental issues, and it's going to be about the same amount of money that he would have paid originally. And I guess people are just missing that. The mold, they're saying after Irma, a lot of people are having mold issues. Now, this is primarily down in Lee where they had a lot of issues. But we have flooding up here, and they just said just the smallest amount of flooding with your drywalls and everything, you could get mold, and you need to act immediately. I think there's reports that something about within 72 hours, the mold can start to develop. So it was just bringing more awareness to that. And I think most people may be aware of it, that if you had flooding like the folks out of Mayaca, and you got to replace that drywall. I think that's common sense. School board PR part ways. This was an amazing story. This is a lady that's politically connected up in Sarasota. She handled Todd Bowden's sexual. He had some issues where he was being accused of sexually harassing, I believe, 2 individuals when he was up for this superintendent job. He went to this PR firm and they helped him get the job. You know, they helped to show the public, hey, this guy's wasn't now sexually harassing. And anyone can come out and accuse you of sexual harassing. And a lot of times it's valid, a lot of times it isn't. And it happens a lot on work. And what happens is these big companies will just say, you're fired without even researching it. They just let you go once those allegations are out there. I know from my previous work experience. They also helped on some other issues with school board. What he did is Bowden went out and he paid this lady $47,000 because it was under a certain cap. I think the cap was 50. Maybe he paid her 41. He didn't have to go to the school board. Now he wanted to pay her $225,000 over 2 years. So he went to the school board and they were a little pissed about it, but they agreed to it. Then they found out that through the Herald yesterday, that this lady was using IPs under different IPs from her office under different individuals' names and going to stories that were negative about him or her company or the school board and writing positive comments. And that led to Todd asking them to resign and part ways. What's disturbing about this too is during this whole story that's come out over the last week, I believe they said that he has 9 employees working to promote the school through social media, through the different PR processes that are out there or tools that you might have. And I'm thinking, why the hell do you have to pay $225 or $1,000 for a PR company? Pay me. I do all this for free right now. Pay me if $225. I'll come out and handle it for you. So it was an interesting story there, and gave Todd Bowden a black eye. He seems like a really nice guy. He's told me to come in anytime for an interview. He follows my pages. I know that. And, he seems like a nice guy. Just this is leaving black eye. Sorry, I'm not even watching. Yep. And Nancy, I didn't mean to make it sound like I was mad at you. A lot of time, what happens, you guys, is I get hammered all the day long on email. I stopped reading posts on the wall because I just get hammered. I don't want to get irritated. Now they're inundating me on email, so I got to block it stuff so I don't even have to read it on email. And so I get very defensive a lot of times, and I shouldn't. And Nancy is right. It's not right there. I don't know the exact point, but my point being was that, Northport is a lot closer. Northport isn't down on, Price or Toledo Blade. It's actually a lot further south. And I don't think a lot of people realize how close the actual city limits are to us. I'm not sure exactly where it starts off at. I think it's over by that new home division, and it might be halfway between River Road and the Walmart, and I'm not sure the specific place. So Nancy, you were right. I get defensive a lot of times, and I probably shouldn't. The social black belt program is a good thing. They're out there past plantation. Thank you, Kathy. The social black belt it's a good idea. I don't know if you guys listen to this. This is the second time I've seen it out. And this therapist, the school board's contracted with them to show kids how to handle issues that come their way. Now, we never had that as a kid, and I think that's what made many of people my age the people we are now. I think we nursemaid too many of these guys, and maybe in this new society, maybe we need that so they know how to deal with the different issues. To me, it's not of any value, but I could see where some people could benefit from it. I don't know if I want the school involved in that, but what do I know? The couple prostitution busts. 52 arrests yesterday. Prostitution, there was like 2 or 3. Drugs left and right. Drugs left and right. Dennis probably knows what I'm laughing about there. It's always interesting reading this stuff. If Dennis is still on, when I said SPR, that's special, special protective release or something. And it drives him crazy because he's a bail bondsman. He's the one with that crazy ass sign out in South Venice that says it was always had the countdown with Obama. Went to high school with him, good guy, excellent guy, if you ever need bonds. And he gets so frustrated because he'll have people that will come in, career criminals, people that should not be put back out on the street, and if they are, they should have high bonds and bail bonds. And what's happening is these judges are giving them an SPR, just saying, "Oh, go home, no bracelet or anything. Go home, call us a couple times, we'll know you're okay." And he had one individual on his bond last week. He was going crazy on it, where I think the individual took off one time, they brought him in, Dennis bailed him out on that one. He took off on Dennis's bail, but Dennis had to bring him back in, and the judge still on a third time gave him an SPR. And so we as citizens should be concerned about that, because they're letting a lot of these people that shouldn't be released back out without any bail, without any consequences, nothing. And it's frustrating, and it's frustrating for someone like Dennis who's in that industry. Something I just started doing is when I go through the police reports, if I find something interesting, I'm separating it out for you guys. And like this guy, Venice man, arrested for traveling unlawfully to meet a minor. Because I think a lot of times people will see a police report, they may not look at it, or they open it and just look for their friends' names, and then they close it. So this brings more attention, because this guy was living, I'm in Venice, this guy was right around the corner here in Capri Isles. So they got him, and I think the warrant is actually for another state. But what I'm trying to achieve is bringing out awareness to everybody, so they know about the guy in case there were any issues there. If you guys are from City of Sarasota, any of you on here, they're doing a Survey Monkey, where the police department wants to know what they can do better. It's a staffing study. Right now they're understaffed, just like the sheriff and the Venice PD. All these guys are understaffed. And I think if you go in and do the survey, it will help them get a better idea of if they need to be better staffed and if the city needs to allocate money towards them. So it'd be worth your while to do it. Here's another one. Sarasota man arrested for lewd and lascivious behavior, molestation, victim under 12. You know, he was arrested yesterday, but when you click on it, it goes back to, I think, August and October of 2016, last year. I'm not sure what the specifics are there and why he was just arrested again yesterday. So it was pretty strange. A lot of sickos out there, folks. A lot of sickos in our area. I don't know why. All right. The next article just talked about teen cell phone usage. My daughter does this. I can't get the cell phone out of her hand. I know sometimes she stays up late. She goes into meltdown mode. I don't like it being anywhere near her due to the frequencies, signals it's in now, because I think they cause cancer. I used to work with GTE. I had a phone, we had those little flip phones to my ear all day long, and I used to get the worst headaches by the end of the day. So I'm a believer in a lot of the studies out there that say they cause medical issues. Local schools, and Sarasota was mentioned in this, again, out of Tampa. I'm not sure why they don't cover this kind of stuff here locally, but they talk about having these comfortable seating procedures, like the bouncy ball or the netted seat. The kid looks like he's pretty comfortable, and how they help the kids to feel more comfortable, feel more like being at school, stay more focused. Not sure if it's working, but they say it's a good idea. Frontier, how about these guys? Now, my buddy made fun of Frontier and Spirit the other day, and I think it's because he's in pilot with Southwest, but he said, yeah, Frontier, basically you get a lawn chair and you sit in that. But they have flights up to New York. Islip is right outside. It's not that far outside the city. Minneapolis, Providence, and these fares. How about this? $29, man. You can't beat that on Frontier. So check them out. Closing statements all day long. Closing statements went by in the Frank Bybee trial with the former deputy, and I believe it's gone off to the jury. I think I just posted that video. From what I'm seeing, it doesn't look good for Frank. So, I can't imagine. Can you imagine being a deputy? You bust all these guys, and now you're in the slammer with them, and then now you're looking at time. That's going to be a rough leg for him to go on. Venetian Walk. They're having a meeting in Sarasota on Monday night at 5 o'clock. This is for affordable housing on Grove Street in the city of Venice. For some reason, the city of Venice contributes money, and they were the last to basically step up, which is weird because the city of Sarasota, and the county of Sarasota stepped up before them. And they're all putting in money with the hopes that there will be enough money for the positioning in the lottery and that they'll win the lottery because time's running out on getting that affordable housing done and put through. So best of luck there. We'll see what happens. If you're interested in affordable housing, then you'll want to be at the meeting on Monday at 5. There's always a public hearing portion, usually in the beginning and sometimes midway through. Car burglaries, a lot in Sarasota. The SPDs remind people because they had, out of 4 car break-ins, 3 guns stolen. I personally don't keep my gun in my car because I drive a Jeep and the Jeep's wide open. I tell people all the time, I keep mine here, and it's amazing. You guys won't know how many times people have a gun in their pocket and you can't even tell. People never know I have it in there, but I never keep it in the car. Now, my best buddy, Jimmy, does, but he can lock it up. However, even if you can lock it up, guys, you can break a window easily. And if someone wants to break a window and they get in there and get your gun, 3 guns out of 4 cars, guys. That's not good. How come no one's talking? No more questions. Lisa's a chatterbox on there. Let's see. The armed robbery, that was at the Publix. Any comments on there? Oh, no, this is a different one. This is armed robbery on Bay Street. No, that's the armed robbery from yes. No, I think that's a different one. There's so many armed robberies here. What's our society coming to? The breakdown of society. Did you guys hear, just off note on a national issue, I posted on my national page, North Korea is going to test another significant bomb, and they're preparing for it. Then you listen to Trump's comments yesterday. Before the dinner with the generals, they came in for pictures. And then after the dinner, he called them in there again, or maybe it was still before. And what was his comment? He said, "Get used. This is the calm before the storm, so get used to it." And a lot of people are like, "What the hell did he mean?" I know what it was. He called them in before the pictures, and he said, "We're going to be talking about Iran and North Korea." Then after dinner, they came in for pictures again, and that's when he said, "This is the calm before the storm, so enjoy life right now." And it got a lot of people wondering what the hell is being planned. And then you saw today where he's making a decision on Iran. Trying times, folks, trying times. Let's see. Sorry, my page flipped out. All right. The storms, I thought it was going to rain all weekend. I think I'm going to have surf all weekend, so I'll be down at the jetty, depending on which way the swell is driving out of, either south or north jetty. But so if you want to see something going on, lots of surfing this weekend, probably. Hopefully we'll have some good waves. I thought there was going to be a lot more rain on Sunday, but they're dropping it somewhat, the chances in the wind, because it's moved more westerly. That's a good thing. Good for us, bad for the folks over in Louisiana. Let's see. Frank B. Bybee. Cigna, stop covering OxyContin. I have family and friends that have dealt with drugs. Not a huge fan of the drug epidemic out here. I've, when I was like 16, 17, I smoked some pot, but it got me exhausted, of melon. I didn't like it. And that's when I started drinking a ton of beer, got in a ton of fights. Then I saw my friend die. We were leaving a party at Jackson Road, driving up Venice Avenue towards 41. Pulled up 30 seconds after the accident. Keith and another individual died. And they were at the same party as us. And after that, I was always driving and I never drank. And so I personally, when I look at this stuff, I don't get it. I don't get how someone could sit there and do the drugs, or someone could sit there and just get drunk as hell. And it's hard for me to fathom all this, but the drugs, it's really difficult. And what I see with this, I see so many friends here, I could tell you that the guy's dead now. One of my friends was the biggest pot dealer in Venice until about a year ago when he died. And I know a lot of the drug dealers here. I know a lot of people that are dying from their drugs and destroying their lives. And it's just a shame. And then you see stuff like this where Cigna's coming in. They're saying, look, we want to. It's a little late. We want to stop this whole drug epidemic. I can't speak, and we're not going to cover prescriptions with OxyContin anymore. The other thing is we're going to push it from 30 days to make you come in every 7 days. And what you're doing is you're pushing these guys out into the streets. and they're going to go into the black market. And just like 2 years ago, when Florida instituted new policies with pain pills, everybody started going on the street, and the pain pill industry on the street went up to what, $80 a pill or whatever it is. People started doing heroin. And I was talking to my buddy, today, and he expanded on, I thought everyone was driving towards heroin, and he told me no, they're actually going more towards meth because that's even cheaper. You know, you can blend it, you can make it up at home, and we all know the dangers of meth. It just destroys people's lives, and it's a shame. So I understand what companies like Cigna are doing, what Trump and Scott are trying to do, and controlling the opioid. I think it's going to have the opposite effect, and I think it's going to drive more people out into what we call the black market, if you will. Buchanan wants more gun regulations. How about that? What a horrible Republican. Sorry, can you tell him for the Second Amendment? Buchanan's a joke. He's just as bad as Paul Ryan, and I'm a libertarian. I don't want a Democrat in there. Sorry, liberals. But this guy's got to go. This guy for us to the federal government is just as bad as having someone like Dieter at the county level. These political hacks should not be there, and they're working for special interests and not the interest of the people. That's what I think. Let's see. NAACP honors. How about this idiot? 18, brings a BB gun into Riverview. Gets in a fight, has drugs. What's that drug he had on him? Legend? Never heard of it. Legend. They used to call me the Legend. I used to have a belt buckle called the Legend. Still have the buckle, not the belt. Now it's a drug. Who would have thought? Pot, battery, bringing a BB gun to school, got suspended. 18? Hopefully his ass is out of that school. All right, we don't need idiots like that there. Gun control, protest out of Bayfront. A lot of people there for a Friday, huh? A lot of people out there protesting the guns. You know what happens, folks? You take the guns away from the people like me. Next thing you know, you got a bunch of people running around without guns, and all the criminals have the guns. And that's what happened in Chicago. Some of those most strictest gun control laws around. Look, all the criminals are there shooting each other. Look at Venezuela. Not Maduro, but the guy before him. Oh, God, what's the guy that's before him? I can't remember his name. You know, they took all the guns away from the Venezuelans. Now they got Maduro in there. People are eating dogs. They can't survive. He's cracking down on the opposition. And guess what? They don't have the guns to fight for their rights. That's one of the things I remember one time the China government said, one thing you got to look at whenever you invade something like the United States is every person there has a gun, which is a concern. Interesting, huh? All right, let's see. Publix, smacking myself on the back. It's amazing how many people don't believe stuff I put out until SNN or WWSB or Herald put it out. I don't get it, but such is life. All right, let's see. What else? Let me update here. All right, I think that's about it on the news. The activities this weekend, I don't know of any. I'll post something if there is anything. I think there's that triathlon out of Benderson, but most of us probably don't want to go out there and run a triathlon. I know I don't on a weekend. So I'm going to be surfing, like I said, hopefully all weekend. If I find any events, I'll post those. You guys got any parting words? Oh, thank you, Marilyn. Loves watching. Thank you, Marilyn. Lisa's we're sitting ducks. Yep. Black market. She was talking about the drugs. Yep. All right, guys. I think that's it. Everybody have a great weekend. I'm finishing up. These are what we call HICFAs. I can't show you the front side because they're medical information. And then I got a ton of EOBs I have to post, which are payments. And then I get to start my weekend, probably around, 6 or 7 tonight. If you're in Venice, the game, IMG. My daughter, Francesca, she told me that she keeps talking to me. IMG. We heard they're huge. All the football players are saying they're huge. IMG, from my understanding, is they're a school that goes out and recruits these kids with special abilities when it comes to sports, football, soccer, whatever it might be. And this may be a challenging game tonight. So I'm thinking about going out there and seeing this challenging game. The guy, what's his name? There's a guy, I share a lot of his videos. I forget his name. Excellent producer. He's only 1 year out of high school or something like that. And Josh, McLendon, vibrant aspect. He does some really good videos. 2 weeks ago, it was a home game, and he did it live, and he had a video on the field, and he had video coverage up in where they do the recordings, up in the top stand above the bleachers there. I think he's doing that again in every game. So if you have time to catch it at 7:30, if you can't make it down, he'll put it on there, and the coverage was pretty good. I was pretty impressed with Josh for his first football coverage game. So check that out. I'll share it if I see it out there. And that's up. Now, for sure, I'm leaving. Okay, everybody. Have a great weekend. This has been Frankie with The Scoop.